Hello everyone, welcome to the ITLS Academy. Our today's lecture is on the topic bioinstrumentation, and under which I will be considering today is the laminar airflow and the incubator. Let's start with the lecture. First, I'm taking the laminar airflow. The laminar flow cabinet are a carefully enclosed bench designed to prevent contamination of biological samples or any particle sensitive device and to protect the product operator and the environment. Air a laminar flow and air flow moving in a single direction and in parallel layers at constant velocity from the beginning to the end of a straight line vector. It is consisting of HEPA filters. The abbreviation for HEPA filters is high efficiency particulate air, which removes at least 99.97 of percent of airborne particles, zero point 0.3 pm in diameter. Okay, the laminar hood, sometimes also known as laminar airflow, is designed in such a way so that we can perform our any microbial work under this instrument. It is an instrument provides a safer environment for any microbial work, for any laboratory work. Suppose we have to create any culture, or we have to inoculate our culture into our dish. We have to maintain our master plate, or for inoculation of culture, these experiments requires a safer environment so that none of the microbes even can exist in the outward environment. That is why, to performing any these experiment, we need a safer environment, a sterilized surface, so that the chances of contamination in the experiment would reduce to 99.97%. And it provides and it is done by this instrument, which maintains this by HEPA filters. The laminar hood are equipped with a short wave ultraviolet germicidal lamp to sterilize the shell or cabinet or the surface of the hood. The hood should be turned on about 10 to 20 minutes before being used to kill the germs, and it is important to switch off this light during use, as it may cause mutation and may give any exposed skin sunburn and may cause even cataract too. So it is required to wipe down the cabinet surface with ethanol before and after the use, as and it's also required to keep the hood free of culture as possible, because this will interfere with the laminar airflow pattern. So these are the things which could be performed under this laminar airflow. The most important thing is the use of the germicidal ultraviolet ray, because this UV germicidal lamp is used to sterilize the interior and content before uses to prevent the contamination of experiment. The germicidal lamp are usually kept for 15 to 20 minutes sterilized uh, before the switch on. We have to switch on the germicidal lamp before the experiment for 15 minutes, so that it could safely remove if any chances of contamination if there occurs inside the hood. Next is the let's see the theory. The unidirectional air moving at a fixed velocity along parallel lines and and was demonstrated to reduce turbulence and aid in the capture and removal of airborne contaminants from the airstream. The use of HEPA filters provide a particulate free work environment, and the mode of action is depends upon the air is drawn through a HEPA filter and blown in a very smooth laminar flow towards the user. The flow, as we have discussed, the flow of the laminar hood is in the outward direction, that is from within inside the interior of the laminar flow to the outward of the to the towards the user. so that none of the chances could occur of for any microbes to go from outward direction to inward direction. That is why it is blown in a continuous way, in a continuous pattern and at a constant velocity. The main components of the laminar hood are a blower, this HEPA filter, a high efficiency performance air filter, and a plenum chamber, means pressurized housing containing air to positive pressure. Okay, the question arises, why you need laminar hood? The laminar hood is generally needed to because it provides a clean air to the working area, and it provides a constant flow of air out of the work area to prevent room air from entering, and the air that flows out from the hood removes the contaminants introduced into the work area by personnel. The most important part of the laminar flow is the hood of the hood is the high efficiency particulate air filter. This is of utmost important, and this installation is done by this only. Okay, working of the laminar airflow. A laminar flow hood is consist of a filter pad, a fan, and a HEPA filter. The fan sucks the air through the filter pad where the dust is trapped, and after that, the pre filtered air has to pass the HEPA filter where contaminating fungi, bacteria, dust, etc. are removed. Now, the sterile air flows into the working area where you can do all your flasking work without any risk of contamination. Okay, this is the working for laminar airflow, how the flowing affect the how the airflow affect our work, how we can still how the sterilization is done, how the safer environment is maintained inside the hood. The efficient functioning, the important parameter to make sure that the hood works efficiently is the HEPA filter that has to remove all the airborne materials. The air speed in the working area has to be about zero point 0.5 meter per second, and if the blowing air is of this speed, then their chances for occurring any of the particulate in the air inside the hood would be reduced and contamination could be prevented. Room is okay, as we have discussed that the room air is taken into the unit and passed through the pre-filter to remove gross contaminants, line, dust, etc. The air is then compressed and channeled up behind and through the HEPA filter in a laminar flow fashion. Okay, what safety precautions should be taken for the laminar hood? We have the large objects should never be placed near the back of the hood. These objects contaminate everything downstream and disrupt the laminar flow pattern of air too, which normally suspend the contaminants and remove them from the area. These are the safety precautions which should be maintained while working in a laminar airflow. Waste and other items should never enter the hood. All calculations should be done before entering the hood, and culture should be less. Hands should be cleaned by ethanol. Do not touch your hair, face, or clothing while working. Excess dust should be removed from the items before introducing them into the hood. The HEPA filter, let's understand the one of the component of the laminar airflow is the HEPA filter. Let's see the construction. HEPA filter is constructed of borosilicate microfiber in the form of pleated sheet, and the sheet is pleated to increase the overall filtration surface. The plate are separated by serrated aluminum baffles or stitched fabric ribbons which direct airflow through the filter. This combination of pleated sheet and baffles act as a filtration medium. Now comes towards the uses. Laminar flow cabinet are suitable for a variety of applications where an individual can clean air environment. It is required for smaller items, example particle sensitive electronic devices. In the laboratory, laminar flow cabinet are commonly used for specialized work, for example, for inoculation, for preparing our culture plates, and for maintaining it, and for transferring for inoculation, and various other activities that has been done under this microbial work. Laminar flow cabinet can be tailor made up of specific requirements of the laboratory, ideal for general lab work, especially in the medical, pharmaceutical, electronic, and industrial sectors. Okay, how they are made? Laminar flow cabinet or laminar airflow cabinet are normally made of stainless steel with no gaps or joints, thereby preventing the buildup of bacteria from collecting anywhere in the working zone. The laminar flow cabinet are also known as the clean benches because the air for the working environment is thoroughly cleaned by the precision filtration process, as we have discussed in the previous slide. Now comes towards the types of laminar flow cabinet. There are many different types of cabinet with a variety of airflow pattern for different purposes. Taking as the first one the biological safety cabinet, which is again divided into three classes: class 1, class 2, class 3, of low risk operation, moderate risk operation. Moderate risk operation is again subdivided into type A and type B, and the third one is the high risk operation. And the second part is the clean benches. Clean benches are general purpose laminar airflow, and it can be in horizontal laminar airflow or can be a vertical laminar airflow. So let's discuss about the first one, the biological safety cabinet. The biological safety cabinet are designed to provide personnel, environmental, and product protection. Most PSCs use high efficiency particulate air filters in the exhaust and supply system. The exception is a class 1 BSc which does not have HEPA filtered supply air. Okay, as we have discussed earlier, that the biosafety cabinet are divided into classes: class 1, class 2, class 3. Taking the first class, BSc class 1 is a personal low risk operation, is a personal and environmental protection. No product protection is available. It is like a fume hood but has a HEPA filter in exhaust system to protect environment. The main uses is the use for enclosed equipment, for example centrifuge, harvesting equipment, small fermenters, procedures with potential to generate aerosols, example animals cages, dumping, culture aeration, tissue homogenization, etc. The second class is the moderate risk operation type. It also provides the personal, environmental, and product protection, and uses to provide the microbe free work environment necessary for cell culture propagation and formulation for non volatile antioplastic or chemotherapeutic drugs. And it is divided into type A and type B. The type A has the exhaust air recirculated to the laboratory, not to be used for work involving volatile toxic chemicals. And the BSc class 2 type B has two HEPA filters for supply and exhaust. The exhaust air must be discharged to outdoors via a hard connection. The HEPA filters are effective at trapping particulates, for example infectious agent, but do not capture the volatile chemical or gases. And it is mainly used in volatile toxic chemicals, but amount must be limited. That should be used in limited amount if we are using the volatile or toxic chemicals under the type B of class 2 BSCs. The third one is the high risk operation of class third. It use In this the two HEPA filters for supply and exhaust are available, and maximum protection for environment and workers, means it provides the maximum protection, and discharge to the outdoors is available in this, and uses for the working with highly infectious microbiological agent, conduction of hazardous operation, and various other activities are performed in under this high risk operation of class third cabinets. Next, see, let's the clean benches. Taking the first one as the horizontal laminar flow cabinet, the in under this, the direction of airflow which comes from above then changes direction and is processed across the work in a horizontal direction. The constant flow of filtered air provides the material and product protection, while in vertical laminar flow cabinet functions equally well as horizontal, but the laminar flow cabinet directed vertically downward onto the working area. The air can leave the working area via holes in the base, and vertical flow cabinet can provide greater operator protection. The These benches should never be used for manipulation of potentially infectious or toxic materials. Means vertical laminar airflow is not preferable for that. Uh, okay, there are various advantages of using vertical and horizontal. Both are of good at their importance. Taking the first one as the vertical laminar airflow, it requires the less floor area used for compounding sterile product, lesser airflow turbulence, and cross contamination is next to impossible. And the advantage of horizontal laminar airflow is hands and gloves are less contaminated from airflow while working, easy in work operation, and less turbulent effect is there while working. Okay, let's see the standard operation procedure for working under the laminar airflow. First is to ensure that the instrument is clean and free from dust. Okay, one on once once we have to do once we decide to do our work under the laminar airflow, so before operating that instrument we have to firstly clean up that instrument. We open the door and wipe out with the 70% ethanol all the surface inside the hood, inside the laminar airflow, the surface, the upside walls, and the front glass from inside and outward direction. We have to wipe it with 70% of ethanol. Thus we ensure the cleaning of the laminar airflow is done. Then adjust the 3-pin plug and supply. We have to adjust the 3-pin plug and supply the power on. Switch on the mains, then turn on the switch of UV light. Leave the UV on for at least 30 minutes, and during this 30 minutes all the sterilization of the hood is done. So while leaving the UV on, we close the hood, the front glass door properly so that the no light comes outward. So leaving that on for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes we have to turn off the UV light, then turn on switch of visible light, turn on the switch of airflow, wipe the working surface again as well as the glasswares and equipments to be placed inside the cabinet with 70% of ethanol. Okay, this is the step, but once we have to do the same step before we have to operate the laminar airflow, and then after the UV light sterilization has done, then also we have to wipe out the all the surface. Wipe hands with 70% of ethanol. Light the spirit lamp of Bunsen burner inside the cabinet. Next is the do bacterial transfer, other necessary actions. Whatever the experiments we have to perform under the hood, we have to do that. And then switch off the main after the use. Okay, eh, now till now we have discussed about the laminar airflow. This is the fourth instrument, that is the laboratory incubator. So let's begin our lecture with the laboratory, further lecture with the laboratory incubator. The microbiological incubator is deployed in research and industry in a wide variety of applications with living organisms. A laboratory incubator is a heated insulated box used to grow and maintain microbiological or cell culture. The incubator maintains optimal temperature, humidity, and gaseous content of the atmosphere inside. Many incubators include a programmable timer which may be set to cycle through different temperature and humidity level. The devices vary in size from tabletop units to large systems the size of a cupboard. Okay, cell culture and microorganisms must be incubated in a controlled atmosphere. In the standard incubator and the cooled incubator, the temperature is controlled, and in addition, in the CO2 incubator, the carbon dioxide content, humidity, and in some cases, the oxygen and nitrogen content are also controlled. Incubator provides a safer environment because many of the germination, many of the growth could not be occurred at a room temperature. They required a specific temperature. Any microbial cell requires a specific temperature in which it shows the optimal growth, in which they shows the optimal division. That is why that particular temperature is required, so which would be provided only by the incubators. If we set the incubator at that particular temperature, the microbes could be easily grown and would be safe, and would be provided with the that environment. If they require the oxygen, then oxygen will be provided, or if they require an anaerobic condition, so anaerobic BODs, anaerobic incubators are also provided to provide the particular environment for particular growth of the cell. The simplest incubator are insulated boxes with an adjustable heater, typically going up to 60 to 65 degrees Celsius, though some can go slightly higher, generally to not more than 100 degrees Celsius. The most commonly used temperature, both for bacteria, such as the frequently used, we can use the E. coli, as well as the mammalian cell, is approximately 37 degrees Celsius. As these organisms grow well under such conditions, because they cannot grow under the room temperature, and if we try to do under the room temperature, the media will full of the contamination. For other organisms used in biological experiments, such as the budding yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae, a growth temperature of 30 degrees Celsius is required, and at up to 30 degrees Celsius it shows the optimal growth. More elaborate incubators can also include the ability to lower the temperature via refrigeration, or the ability to control the humidity or carbon dioxide levels inside the incubator. This is important in the cultivation of mammalian cells, where the relative humidity is typically 80% to prevent evaporation, and a slightly acidic pH is achieved by maintaining a CO2 level of 5%. Okay, some of the examples of application in incubator is, it is used for growing cell culture, reproduction of germ colonies with subsequent germ count in the food industry, reproduction of germ colonies and subsequent determination of biochemical oxygen demand, used for reproduction of microorganisms such as bacteria, fungi, yeast, or viruses. Also used for breeding of insects and hatching of eggs in zoology. Also used for the controlled sample storage and growing of crystal proteins and crystals. Let's see the operating procedure for bacteriological incubator. But before going to the standard operating procedure, let's understand what is the BOD incubator. BOD incubators are used to maintain a temperature range of 5 degrees Celsius below and up to ambient to 60 degrees Celsius. The BOD incubators are widely used in medicines, research laboratories, and agriculture industries. These incubators are used in the study of biochemical oxygen demand in studies related to the bacterial culturing, as some of the bacteria required has the utmost requirement for the oxygen demand. They cannot be grow without the oxygen. If oxygen is not provided, so growth will be won't be seen in the culture media. Therefore, germination, plant fermentation, and different other studies are available in which the BOD incubators are generally required. The BOD incubators also consist of with lights which are suitable for plant growth and insect studies. Nitrogen in wastewater samples and levels of organic matters can be studied with the help of refrigerated BOD incubators. This water must be treated with chemicals and recycled back to the environment without posing threat to a regular water supply system. So, BOD incubators have shown very remarkable equipment for many of the studies. If we can say for studying the water supply treatment or for incubating for different experiment which shows the requirement of oxygen needed for the growth of the cell. Now let's understand the standard operating procedure for bacteriological incubator. The bacteriological incubator is a well insulated double walled chamber and can be maintained the temperature as per the set point on the controller. We have to check the power supply, ensures that the door is closed, check the ventilator at the right hand side of the chamber is partially open, switch on the main switch on the right hand side of the incubator. Digital display shows the inside temperature and inside fan also runs. Heater supply on, display on the printer interface unit on. Set required temperature on the controller by pressing the increment key and decrement key. Set the safety thermostat at above 5 degrees Celsius of the set temperature on the temperature controller. The safety controller will cut off the mains and the entire chamber in case of undershoot of the temperature by 5 degrees Celsius to the set temperature. Record the temperature whenever the bacteriological incubator is put for the uses for 3 times in a day: morning, afternoon, and evening. Next is the operating procedure for BOD incubators. The BOD incubators are well, as we have discussed earlier, are well insulated double walled chamber and maintain the temperature as per the set on the controller in the range of 5 degree to 60 degrees Celsius. Before using it, we have to check the power supply. Next is to connect the drain pipe properly. Have to ensure that the door is closed. Check the porthole on the side of the chamber is properly fitted with rubber cork or not. Switch on the mains on the control panel. Heater will be on. Display on temperature controller. Inside chamber motor is on. Set required temperature on the controller by pressing up and down buttons. Set the safety thermostat at 5 degrees Celsius above the set temperature on the temperature controller of incubator. The safety controller will cut off the mains and the entire chamber in the case of undershoot of the temperature by 5 degrees Celsius to the set temperature. Switch on the cooling switch on the control panel. Refrigeration condenser and compressor motor shall be on. In the BOD incubator, the timer provided of range 99 plus 99 hours. One can set the time on the timer which will cut off the mains at the end of the set time and also give a audio record. Okay, what are the requirements made of the incubator. The temperature stability and temperature homogeneity. Living organisms exact extremely sensitive to fluctuations in temperature. In order to guarantee reproducibility test result, the temperature stability and temperature homogeneity are important quality criteria for an incubator even without the operation of a fan. Therefore, the nutritional media on which the cultures are grown must not under any circumstances dry out. Otherwise, there is a risk that the test result will be corrupted or the cultures will be completely die out. Appliances with natural convections are therefore optimal since the drying out process is not accelerated in contrast to appliances with forced air circulation. Next is the avoiding contamination. Hygiene is of the highest priority when working with an incubator. Germs may end up in the samples through air movement in the chamber or impurities on the chamber surfaces. The chamber should therefore be designed as smoothly as possible and without any sharp corners or fittings. The interiors in the incubator are normally made up of corrosion free stainless steel to make cleaning easier, and they are smoothed by some manufacturers to prevent germs from settling. In order to observe the chamber load without having to open the door, the incubators are usually equipped with an inner glass doors. Thank you for being with us. For more information, please log on to our website www.itlsacademy.com and register yourself for summer training program.